Team 12's Antonia Mejia takes us inside that explosive phone call.
Caribe Mark, we do want to warn you, what you're about to hear may be considered disturbing. We've also altered the voices of the team's parents to protect their identities. This young man, just like you guys said, he's a father himself. He was driving home from work when he came across people yelling at this parking lot. They were yelling for help. So he stopped, and that's when he saw the suspect driving off in this direction and decided to go after him.
The snow really just keeps on coming down, but it's not stopping people from coming out, pulling over to the side of the road, and really just enjoying this day.
I'm out here to take pictures of it.
A lot of witnesses shaken up by this, and it's really because typically this is such a quiet community. But this morning, a lot of people who were outside heard two cars coming down 48th Street here, then two loud collisions followed by gunfire. The street behind me has been completely blocked off. Traffic is getting diverted, and by the looks of what you see, there's a lot of cars out here. The majority of them were actually stuck because of the flooded street. Volunteers out here have been preparing meals for about 50 migrant families that were dropped off by ICE earlier today. Yeah, a lot of people out here are shocked to hear about this. Others have even dropped off flowers to pay tribute to the British band. These meals prepared with a lot of love. Just out here at the Phoenix Convention Center, 1,000 of them are being served. But as of today, hemp is going to start popping up in places like the land that's right behind me. The CEO of Skunk Works Hemp tells me he's going to start with about 3 acres of land to grow 1,500 plants. And depending on how it goes, he wants to expand to more than 10,000 acres. We are literally in our family pasture. This is my brother Randall, my baby brother Randall.
Yep.
Preparing each and every uniform is always different depending on who the service member is. But once it's ready, it's taken through these double doors where the fallen hero is dressed. Caribe, so far police have not said what the motive could be. But what we do know is that all 3 of these incidents happened in July. Detectives interviewed this mom several times until they say she confessed.
And Antonia, how is she doing?
Well, Caribe and Mark, Frances Treadwell is trying to cope with her husband Harold's loss. He had just spoken to her on the phone before being killed.
Well, that's us. That's our wedding day, July 28th, 1967.
Harold and Frances Treadwell married for 52 years.
The high school sweetheart scenario.
A couple who would do everything together.
He's my best friend.
What she didn't know, his call to her early Sunday morning would be the last time she'd ever speak to him.
Hi, honey, happy 52nd. I said, you too. I said, I love you, and he told me he loved me. And then I said, where are you? And he told me 32nd at Baseline. He goes, I don't like being down here. I'm going to try to head back north now. I said, when will you be home? He goes, well, if I don't get another ride, I'll come home soon.
Just minutes later, while driving down Baseline Road, a bullet would come down Harold's car, killing him instantly.
Who would do something like this? I mean, just think about it. Someone you don't even know, you pull a gun and you shoot him in the head at 12:30 a.m. in the morning. Who would do that?
There's no information from police on a possible suspect description.
Just totally senseless.
So Frances is offering this desperate plea to the shooter.
I hope that you come forward and confess so that I know what happened to my husband. I need to know for closure.
A loving father, grandfather, and retired man trying to make a few extra dollars for his wife as a Lyft driver.
You know, and for all drivers, listen to your heart, because he knew he was in a bad area and he said, I'm heading back north.
If you know anything about this case, you can remain anonymous by calling Silent Witness at 480-WITNESS. There's also a GoFundMe set up to help Frances out with Harold's funeral expenses. We have that information on our 12 News app right now. I'll send it back to you guys.
She's still recovering from severe burns on more than 65% of her body.
She's a sweetheart. Team 12's Antonia Mejia has been tracking Isabella's progress, but Antonia, her road to recovery is taking longer than expected.
That's right. The goal was for Isabella to be back in school by this fall. It's just not the case. She is telling us, though, what's keeping her strong.
This is Big Daddy.
She's surrounded by stuffed animals. Each one is a show of support, helping Isabella McCune on her road to recovery. Okay. She's a big Star Wars fan, so these fellow movie characters stopped by. And even Isabella's pop star idol, Taylor Swift, paid her a visit. All have uplifted her spirits, but she's still coping with painful treatments.
It's been hard.
I'm actually one of the first visitors she gets to talk to after weeks in isolation because of a bacterial infection.
Ooh, I want to tell you something. Well, except for my lower back, because that's burned, but the rest of my back is fully healed and there doesn't need to be dressings on it.
That's the good news. But her doctor says they still need more skin to cover open areas.
She has very limited areas where we can take donor sites, so we can only graft small areas at a time.
What helps you stay strong?
I usually pray.
Truth is, the pain becomes the real challenge.
It comes like out of nowhere sometimes.
That's exactly what happened as I was readjusting my camera. But Isabella's mom at her side every step of the way until it passed.
Can I have Coca-Cola?
Yes, of course.
A few minutes later, as if the pain was never there. So we go back to some fun talk.
We gotta get you a Cardinals blanket.
Yeah.
A brief smile back on her face as a road to recovery continues.
Now, Isabella still awaits more surgeries, but with her 9th birthday coming up in just days, a party is planned to keep showing her some cheer. Guys, back to you.
Team 12's Antonia Mejia hearing exactly why that man is being called a hero. She joins us live from the Alert Center. Antonia?
Tram Mike, Thomas Honeycutt tells me he and his wife, they were trying to call 911. The line was busy, the flames spreading, and he says he wasn't about to watch them completely engulf the injured pilot inside.
I just took it upon myself to help extract that guy out of that plane.
A single-engine Mooney bursting into flames after crashing onto Deer Valley Road. Inside, the 50-year-old pilot.
I got to the bottom of the plane. I had to step back because it was so hot. And then I just went in again and noticed that his seatbelt and his clothes were burnt off his body.
Thomas Honeycutt didn't know a second explosion was about to happen.
I had to re-grip and kind of grab him some more, and then a couple gentlemen from the MIT school were out there, and they helped me grab this man, pick him up, and move him across the street to a safer location. And then that's when the plane exploded for a second time, and that's when everything was gone.
Other witnesses rushed over to give the pilot water.
After he drank the water, he looked up at us and was like, "I think I'm a little banged up." I just think he was making light of the situation.
He was just like, carried that guy across the thing. There's no way.
One witness calling out Honeycutt's bravery.
That guy's a beast right there.
But the father says he was just trying to help.
That's the only thing I was doing. I have a daughter at home, and I wouldn't want to go out like that. I would want my daughter to at least see me before, or if he makes it, that's awesome. He'd be able to make it out, and he's alive and he's with his family,
The pilot's wife tells me he remains in critical condition. They're also extremely grateful for all of the help in rescuing him from that burning plane. We're live in the Alert Center. Antonia Mejia, 12 News.
What a great Samaritan.
Yeah, so brave. Awesome story.